Now let me just double check on my end that is working. All right, cool. We're live. What's going on, everybody? We're here with Sports Alpha Club. We have Carlos, Joe, and Alejandro. Hey.
All good, Nick. All good. It's really a pleasure to be here with you, my friend.
Hey, Nick.
Thank you so much.
Great to be here, man.
Yes, sir. And Carlos, I think you're here. Are you frozen? I think his mic might be frozen right now, or his camera. But we'll get with Carlos. I guess he's having some issues. But how are you guys doing today? Do you want to do like a quick introduction to maybe somebody who doesn't know about Sports Alpha Club?
Yeah, for sure. Do you want us to do a bit about ourselves first, or just overall about the project?
Yeah, we can do a bit about yourselves first, I guess, while we wait for Carlos to hop back in. So let's start with Alejandro.
Great. So my name is Alejandro. I am the founder of Sports Alpha Club. I was born in Panama City, Panama, which is where I'm at right now. And for the majority of the year, for 10 months out of the year, I am actually in Florida. I'm doing a double major I'm getting my bachelor's degree in finance and commercial entrepreneurship. So I attend currently Florida State University, which, it's a top 20 public university in the States right now. And I'm currently in Panama for summer, and I'm actually working at a bank. So I'm gaining valuable banking experience and, honing my financial expertise and my skills that I already have. Um, Before I was in Florida, I actually graduated and went to a military boarding school in Georgia in the US. And, that experience was really good for me, really taught me how to manage teams, how to handle people, how to handle emotions. And it really taught me leadership skills. I was able to graduate with a major rank, and I was a battalion executive officer of the school. So I actually graduated with the second highest position in the entire school. So that was really, managing a core of over 600 cadets, and I think that it's one of my defining moments in life that has taught me more discipline than any other thing that I could think of. It's Sports Alpha Club. You can probably guess that I'm an avid sports fan. It's one of my passions. And in addition to my love for sports and finance, I have other hobbies, such as fishing, playing squash, and hitting the gym, and staying informed about current financial markets and current financial predictions. It's something that I've always found interesting, hence why I decided to do a major in finance. Um, if I'm talking about cryptocurrencies and decentralized markets, I would say that I first really got into it and started looking at financial markets, about cryptocurrencies in around 2020. When we saw before we saw the pandemic, the boom of the coins, that most of the coins had a great boom. And that was really when I started to see the potential of blockchain technology. And I really got deep into it. I started to see at the use cases. I'm not gonna lie, before that I was a bit skeptical about what cryptocurrency, about Bitcoin. I was a bit skeptical about it because I had not done any research, and I had always really looked into traditional finance. But once I stepped away, in that 2020 moment on TradFi, and I started to look at unconventional finance, which is cryptocurrency and blockchain, I realized that it has immense potential for global mass adoption, and that the use cases that it has goes far deeper than anything we currently have in our current financial system. So that was really the start of my journey in cryptocurrency. Then around September 2021, I got into CNFTs. By the time 8 and Inches, thread punks, and and all those really early OG projects were minting. And I saw a community grow from being a very small community to from what we have right now, which is, we have a bunch of projects. We have all of these apps and platforms that are being developed for DeFi. In 2021 or in September, we didn't have any of that. We were very early on with Wesley Swap, and CNFT.io was live. So I went into Cardano NFTs in that moment, and I saw everything starting to grow. So I saw that there was a very good potential of Cardano being one of the mainstream NFT marketplaces in the world. And around 2022, I would say around February, I started to discuss about the possibility of doing an NFT project with Carlos. And I wanted to do something unique. I wanted to do something that had not been done before. And I wanted to actually give utility and real utility to a project. I didn't want to be one of those PFP projects that didn't have any real utility and not real value. So that was when I started to look into the whole market, and I started to look at different niches. The thing is that I've been an avid sports betting guy for quite a while now. So as soon as I thought of it, I thought, oh my God, I've been looking at the numbers, I've been looking at the sports betting market. Every year, there are more and more states in the US that are legalizing sports betting, and many countries in the world already have sports betting as a legal way to proceed. So that was really when a light sparked in my head, and I thought there is a big gap in the market right now. There is no one doing this. Sports betting is a huge market that it's growing exponentially year by year. And that's when I met with Carlos, and I brought him the idea, hey, I think we need to get into sports betting, and I think we need to do it in blockchain, and I think that's going to be the next big thing. That transition from Web 2 to Web 3, that's the next big thing. And having the ability of, some of the things that we're going to discuss right now, but just to spark one of the many things, having the ability of owning an NFT and sharing revenues of a sports betting platform, it's something unheard of and something that no one has really thought about before. And that's what we want to do with Sports Alpha Club. It's bringing a multi-billion-dollar industry into the blockchain, and sharing our supporters and investors.
Whoops. Awesome. I appreciate that, man. I wanted to ask you, how did you and Carlos meet? Were you guys friends before this? Did you go to school together? Because I believe he also lives in Panama as well, right?
Right. So Carlos and I are actually cousins. So we've met, we've known each other ever since we're kids, and we actually got together into the space around the same time. So we've really had a close bond for a long time. That's one of the reasons why.
Gotcha. And then shout outs to Brandon, Richie, sending love to the Sports Alpha fam. Shout outs to you, homie. And I see Carlos here. Carlos, is your camera just not working right now?
Hello. Well, I'm having trouble with my internet right now, so I had to join from my phone.
Oh, that's no problem. If this is gonna work, no worries. If you can't have a camera, just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out right now.
Okay. We'll go with Joe, and then we'll hop back with you and see if your camera's working in a little bit.
Okay.
All right, Joe. So if you want to give us a little introduction.
Absolutely, my friend. So basically, as you can see, that really is me. It's not a picture of somebody else. I'm a little bit of a grandfather in the old CNFT space, but that's lovely. And what's even more lovely is the fact that I didn't think there were many others who were anywhere near my age. But as you move around the CNFT community, you keep bumping into people who are very similar age to me, and that's really nice to see. Very few, but still out there, which is wonderful. So quite a full life. I actually was born in Nairobi, Kenya, and my father, my mother, my two brothers, and myself came to the UK when I was 12 years old, and that's where I've lived for the rest of my life. I joined the Royal Navy when I was just under 21, so I served with the Royal Navy for 30 years. And I worked my way up. I became a commander. I was a commander for about 10 years of that time, and very many different jobs in the Navy. Probably with regards to this, one of the best jobs for the future in terms of business was that I was the business manager for a multi-billion-pound aircraft support executive. So that was my profession. I'm a chartered aeronautical engineer. I don't know what they call that in the United States, but it's just a recognized professional, like an accountant or whatever else, engineering. And the thing with being the business manager of this organization is that I had to deal with personnel as well as finance, as well as management planning, as well as utilities, whether it was all kinds of administration. And that gave me a really good background over a period of a few years. I was then actually in personnel. This was outside of that particular job, and I was the diversity and equality policy officer for the whole of the Navy. I was part of a strategic planning group later for recruitment and retention. So, I had a lot of experience from the Navy to be able to use when I came out of the Navy 30 years later. And I set up my own business, which was a consultancy business to do with utilities, which is energy, telecoms, water, waste. And I did that for nearly 10 years. And then I got into ministry as a voluntary ministry with healing prayer specifically. And I discovered the crypto market in 2018. Unfortunately, that was right at the peak of the last bull market. Well, when I say the last, actually, now we've had another one since then in 2021, but the previous one. And I bought in right at the top, realized very quickly that this was going down rapidly. And I came out and I thought, nope, not for me. And I steered clear of it. And then went back into it in 2020 when other people were beginning to talk about how well they were beginning to do. And that was a great timing because the market went up a huge amount until sort of the peak in 2021. I was expecting it to go a lot higher, I think, as most people were, that kind of that blow off top that people talk about, especially in altcoins. And of course that didn't happen as it had happened in the previous two cycles from that. And we just gradually went down and down. We had scandal after scandal. And, you kept expecting it to go back and look like it was just about to, which is, of course, the standard trap in any market. And it would go down even further. So I started then to move money out of crypto. And I'd seen, a lot taking place in the NFT market, specifically in Ethereum. And then I saw, I think, a YouTube video on Cardano, and I started to listen to Charles Hoskinson. I was very, very impressed with him, what he was setting out to do. And I was sold. So I started looking at influencers like yourself. And I think at that time it was BitBoy, and probably still is, but not so much into NFTs as he is into cryptos. And ended up buying my first CNFTs around about January, February of last year, I think it was. Yeah, last year. And I actually am in very many projects. I invested in very many projects. I'm also on the team for Lazy Llamas. They're a bit quiet at the moment, but there's a lot building there as well. So I can tell you that. And maybe we can have one of these with them a little bit in the future. But we, as Lazy Llamas, ended up with a partnership with Sports Alpha Club in the middle of last year. And, after that, I actually kept a very close eye on the project. And when it looked like they were about to launch the Alpha token, I actually had a word with both Carlos and Alejandro to say, look, guys, you need to do so much more in terms of marketing to let the world know what an incredible opportunity this is. And if you don't do that, you're not going to have the success in the pre-sale. You're not going to have the finances and the ability to do what it is you want to do. And that's when they actually invited me to join the core team and to help them with that. So in the last few weeks, we've really started to prepare for the pre-sale, really started to prepare for marketing. And the first thing we did was to produce a white paper and many other things, which of course we will talk about in a minute. But really, that's me. That's how I got involved with Sports Alpha Club. That's how I got involved in CNFTs and crypto in general. But coming from a very, very different background.
Thank you so much. There's so much to dissect there. You were a part of the Royal Navy for 30 years, and then you decided to be an analyst, and then now you're working with NFTs and crypto. And there's just, how do you go from, Royal Navy for 30 years to analyst, and then, now a part of like crypto and NFT teams? How does that translate? How does that even come together?
I have no idea, except that I'm interested in very many things. Prior to joining the Royal Navy, I was actually even then very interested in economics and finance. And my father was very interested in that as well. And so we'd always have chats all the way through, even the time in the Navy, in terms of what the markets were doing, whether it was the stock market, the commodities market, the currency markets, and just looking at various ways to be able to invest. Not a huge amount, because we're just family people. We weren't business people, no great riches, just working for our living. But so that's where I had the real interest in finance. And I'd actually, prior to joining the Navy at 21, I'd actually done a full apprenticeship in Civvy Street with the post office as a telecommunications engineer. So when I joined the Navy, I joined as an artificer again, but in terms of engineering. And so when I came out of the Navy, it was natural to use all the skills I had to go back into, but not just telecoms, to take that to the next level, which was, energy, gas, electricity, telephone, mobile, broadband, waste, all that kind of thing as a consultant for small business and big business. But I think it was really the call to ministry, because I've always been involved in the church wherever I've been. But something amazing happened just over 10 years ago, when I was actually asked to support my parish priest. And it turned out that he was the diocesan exorcist, and I was actually involved in live exorcisms. And if you didn't know that there was a devil and what he can do, and you didn't believe in it, if you're ever in a room with a real exorcist and someone who's really possessed, and you can see what happens, you would have no doubt whatsoever about these things. So it wasn't one, it was very many that I supported him with. And then I became involved in the healing prayer ministry after that. So I gave up on all business, and I was doing completely voluntary work trying to help people. But actually what brought me into crypto was that we want to start a community in Portugal, where we live on a farm which is completely self-sufficient for the people who live on the farm, and have people from all over the world able to come at no charge to receive help with prayer, healing, all kinds of issues and problems. I've worked with people who are generally dropped out of society because of the issues they've had in childhood. They've turned to all kinds of vices, whether it's drink, drugs, alcohol, sex, and basically their lives are shattered, and they need a lot of time to work with. And we've seen incredible results where their lives have been completely turned around, and they've gone back into society and making, a living, a proper living. So I want to be able to do that for people to come from anywhere in the world. And it takes money to buy a big enough place and to run running it free, for people. And that's what got me interested in crypto, and I could see the amounts of money that could be made in a reasonable amount of time if you're sensible. It's taken a while to learn about those rules, and I think we're there now. But of course, we're in the bear market. We're beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm just, really hoping and praying that not just CNFTs, crypto, the areas that we're in, that we will raise those types of sums to be able to do what I really want to do. So that's how it really all ties in, I guess.
Every time you speak, you just lay some like new gold on my brain. You got me like thinking so many things. I have to stay focused on the project, but I'm probably going to talk to you after this because I love the whole spiritual side and the
Right.
exorcisms. I love all of that stuff. So we'll definitely talk after this.
Sure. You're welcome. I actually do a Twitter space for the Lazy Llamas on a Sunday evening at 8 p.m. UTC.
Okay.
And we wanted to do something different because, if you go to most Twitter spaces, everybody's talking about their project and shilling their project. And that's fine. That's what the space is for. But we set this up as a means of meeting people from the space, generally founders, but also community managers, mods, and just investors. And we've had some of the best projects in recent times, the founders of those, come on, but we don't talk about the project. We may a little bit, but we talk about the person. Where did they grow up? What kind of childhood did they have? Mum and dad's relationships, brothers and sisters, what school, what education, all that kind of stuff. And often, because I suppose of my faith, it comes up again and again and again. Two things come up. One is the people we talk to love Cardano, they love Charles Hoskinson, and they love what the space is doing, the community there. But the second thing that often comes up is to do with what I've done in the past and people having the same sort of interests and beliefs as you were talking about just there. So we end up talking about that as well. And it's really good to see. And I'd love to do more.
Gotcha. And then just to reiterate, I was trying to find a pen while you were talking. 8 a.m. Sunday, or is it 8 p.m. Sunday?
It's 8 p.m. UTC.
UTC.
Yeah, on a Sunday evening. And it's Lager and Liqueurs Lazy Llama Sunday. It's, you obviously go to the Lazy Llama page on Twitter. You will find all the previous recordings, and every time you're doing one, it's on there. So last Sunday we had Mike, Ultimate CNFT, and talking about his childhood and all of that kind of thing. Really interesting. This coming Sunday, we've got Lilt Thunder from Bank, who's our main guest.
Hell
and we
yeah,
only
shout
ever
outs to
do
Nate.
one person. We don't do lots and lots of. We do one person, or if it's a project, we might do the 2 or 3 founders together. Especially like in the case of Alejandro and Carlos, who are cousins and or grew up in the same place or close friends and set up a project. It's nice to have them all on together. But as I said, it's not about their project, even though that does come into it. It's about their childhood and growing up and their lives. What they like doing and that kind of thing, really.
Gotcha. Well, shout outs to that. I'm definitely going to try to get into some of those Twitter spaces. I've marked it down on my calendar. But Carlos, let's give you a shot to explain what you do with Sports Alpha Club and, a little bit about yourself.
Hello. Yeah, guys. First of all, thank you for having me here, for having us here. My name is Carlos. I'm rolling sports. I'm 28 years old. I'm based in Panama City, Panama. I lived in Canada, British Columbia, for 5 years. That's since then I fall really passionate into technology since I was almost 14 years old. So I really like being in the computer, programming. I developed my first game when I was 15 years old. So that was I've always been like an entrepreneur. So after that, I moved back to Panama, and then I studied business administrator. At the same time, I did a computer science degree here in Panama. I started on the CNFT. I started in the CNFT back in 2021. In September, I bought my first NFT in Cardano, which was ThreadPunks. And since there, I remember I got X5, my investment, and I really like it. And then I got really into it. I did my research, and then since then, I've been putting all my time and everything into Cardano because it's the most blockchain. I like. Okay, I started building Sports Alpha Club with Alejandro back in 2022. in January, and we got together. Alejandro, I think, already explained this. We got together. We had plenty of time, so we decided we will gonna do this project, and we put all our efforts into the project. And since then, we have been working very hard. And well, yeah, a couple of months ago, we got to meet Joe, and uh, he has bring a lot of knowledge to the project, and we think we are gonna achieve our goal. We really believe what we're building, and we want people to believe us also what we're building.
Nick, can I just say that these guys are both amazing. I just love them to bits. First of all, I have never spoken any other language than English. I learned a little bit of Swahili when I was living in Kenya till 12. And when I came to the UK, I had to learn a little bit of French. And they all got mixed up in my head and all rubbish came out. But I can speak a little bit of French now, not fluently, but I can communicate a little bit when I go to France. But look at these guys, this is not their mother tongue. And I'm just so proud of them. Big shout out to them, that not only are they speaking in a different language, they are actually studying in that language, and they're producing stuff in that language all the time. Huge shout out for them for that. And Carlos, you're hiding your blooming light under the lampshade again. This guy, when he talks about what he's done, he's actually started his own business already. He's got his own shop in Panama City, and he's also got an import-export business with China, where he's importing from China for South America. Guys, you're just great. You guys are both just great. I love you.
Thank you.
Yeah, shout outs to Carlos, man. Sorry, what were you saying, Alejandro?
I was saying thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. And the love is right back at you, man.
Yeah, guys, keep that in mind when people are talking. Sometimes it's not their native language. So if they stutter over a few words or something, it's not necessarily, I'm sure nerves are kicking in too. So, just give everybody a break and understand, just shout outs to them for coming on and speaking in front of everybody, especially in a language that they don't natively speak. I can't speak any languages. So huge shout outs to all y'all, for real. But first thing that I wanted to ask about your project, I wanted to stay and keep it kind of in order, was let's talk about the NFTs. So your first NFT is going to be this membership card. Do you want to explain the membership card, maybe the cost, the date, and how many total will be minted?
If I could just take that, even though obviously that was done before my time, it was done after we became partners with the project. And what Alejandro and Carlos did is they had close partnerships with just 4 projects. Those 4 projects were Lazy Llamas, but it was also the Space Pugs Alpha. It was Equine, and it was The Block, Jason from The Block. Those were the 4 projects. And they went ahead with the mint back in September, October last year. Was it, guys? October?
Yes, it was September.
Yeah, September, right. And, the plan had been, Nick, to have 1,200 cards minted. But unfortunately, as I said before, marketing has not been the strength of the project, and they really needed someone to come in and change that. And that's what I have been doing since I have joined in, because I felt that it would be the same with the actual token launch. So these cards, were supposed to be 1,200, but in the end, as you can see, there's only 500 that has been minted. There are 3 types. There's silver, gold, and platinum. Those are the 3 rarities. Silver obviously being the most, gold slightly less, and platinum the rarest. They are really the core of the idea of being able to benefit our community with what it is that we're building. And so, as we've incorporated into a recently produced white paper, you can see all of the benefits that come with actually owning one of these membership cards. They are no more mintable. So there's only 500 in existence. There will never be any more. And so that's what's available on the market. Before we started marketing, literally a few weeks ago, when I joined the team, the prices of these were sort of, I don't know, 80, 90 ADA. The mint price was 93. So they were about the mint price. But as you can see, the floor is now around about 300. And when we tell you more about the benefits, not just of the membership card, but actually what's being built and going to be given as revenue to the holders of these cards, truly, these cards should be 5,000 now minimum and be growing from that as more and more revenue comes in as we build out the platform. But I think, the thing is, people don't know and don't understand that. And this is part and parcel of coming onto shows like yours, Twitter Spaces, and much more. And that's why the white paper as well, which really explains who we are, what we're building, how it's going to benefit everyone. And I think that will make a big difference to these cards. So whilst we have these as an NFT, there is a plan, and maybe we'll talk about that later and go into more detail about it, but there is a plan to actually have PFP NFTs, which we think will be highly attractive as well, to give people that image, that means of actually portraying themselves as part of the community across the space, whether it's in Discord or whether it's on Twitter or any other way. And the other thing, of course, is that it gives us the opportunity to be able to reward more people than just the 500 or the holders of these 500 cards, which we want to do because obviously, we're talking about a business that's multi-billion in the world. We're not talking about even having 1%. It'd be great if we did and more, but even at the tiniest 1/10 of 1%, the revenue for that would be so phenomenal that we can share it very easily with not just the 500, but even another 10,000 NFT holders, which is what the plan will be. And we also want to include part and parcel of that is branding, so that people know and recognize us not by a membership card, but by a proper PFP NFT, which again, and the token itself, the alpha token. So those are the three areas: the membership card, the alpha token itself, and then a PFP NFT that we will launch later.
Gotcha. And is the other PFP, is that going to be the Wolfpack NFT?
Yes,
That's correct. Yeah,
that's correct.
Gotcha. Do you guys know a rough price and a rough estimate of how many total you'd like to make of those?
Well, we've said right now that we're looking at between 3,000 and 5,000, but we're unlikely to be doing that mint for probably about a year. Now, if everything goes along faster, it might be earlier. And if the market, is able to bear it, then we might, and also not just the market in terms of bearing the price of more, but the demand is there for more. Because as I said, the whole aim of this is to share what we're building with the community. So the membership cards, 25% of monthly revenue will go to the membership card holders. And if when we mint the actual PFPs, 7% of monthly revenue will go to the holders of those NFTs. Now that might seem, 7%, what's that? 25%, what's that? But the figures that we've produced in the white paper showing that even if we were to just manage 1/10 of 1%, and I feel that we're going to go way beyond that, we're trying to be as conservative as possible. The first year's revenue, which will be after the platform's built, so in other words, the whole of 2024, by the end of that, people who hold the cards, we will be looking at sharing 25% of over $1 million, growing by 2029 to $6 million. Now that's based on obviously forecasts that have been made by proper analysts for this whole industry worldwide and how we're intending to tackle it. But that could grow much faster because that's what it's been doing, and our share could grow considerably more. Which again, as we're starting, we'll talk a little bit more about the markets, but we're going to be growing and growing the markets we add to the platform to be worldwide and the very best markets. And so, there really is huge potential for that to be even greater. But frankly, sharing in between 1 and 6 million per year, 7% and 25% with our community means that these, the cards and the NFTs are going to, in their lifetime, be worth, in income, passive income, an absolute fortune.
Yeah, and we're looking at an industry right now that has a compound annual growth rate of around 11% a year, which is a growing industry. It's a thriving industry right now. It's a $70 billion industry. It's projected to be $182 billion industry by 2030. So if we really position ourselves right now at a point in which no one is doing that, we have the first mover advantage, and we can really take a decent share of the market. And if we're already making $1 million with 0.1%, just imagine the kind of money that we could be making if we take 1%, 2%, 5%. This is something that we're throwing very conservative numbers, and with very conservative numbers, we're already having millions of dollars in projections. So, that's also one of the reasons as to why we're going to release the Wolf Pack, not right now, but maybe in a year, because we really want to grow. That first year usually is to onboard a lot of people to grow the platform, and those membership card holders are going to take 25% from the get-go. Once we build the platform, it's instant revenue that's going to be coming to you monthly, and that's a business model that hasn't been done before. And by 2030, if we're raking in 1% of a $180 billion industry, that's going to be millions of dollars. So that's really where we see the potential of this and where we see this going.
The other interesting thing about this is that we've seen in all industries, in all markets, it started in the high street, where you're talking about grocery shopping, or you're talking about electricals, or you're talking about betting. The betting shop was down the high street somewhere. Well, we know that no longer is the case, and more high streets are closing up because it's all gone to Web 2. And, online betting is the reason why it's gone from very small numbers to huge numbers, the 70 billion per year, and projected to grow to 182 billion by 2030. That's because, firstly, there might have been some stigma with actually physically going into a betting shop. But now you don't need to. Anywhere in the world, any time of day, 24/7, you just pick up your mobile, connect your wallet to not say connect your wallet, but you sign up with an online betting site, and you can place bets on any market anywhere. But the next thing we know is that Web 2 is coming to Web 3. We are the future, and we're at such an early stage. Adoption is nowhere near what it's going to be like in the years to come. So we've got a double whammy. We've got the fact that that it is Web 3, and more people are coming to Web 3. And we've also got the fact that more people are coming into sports betting because it's so easy to be able to do. It's gaining more and more interest, and there's no stigma attached with it. And even, women who never used to be part of it, everybody, no problems at all. And we're talking about sports which people love. If you don't like football, well, you might like tennis. If you don't like tennis, you might like golf. There's something out there that people have a heart for. And if you're watching and you know the sports personalities and you love the sport, then having a flutter is just become so much the norm. So that's why we believe that this is coming big time to Web 3. There's many other reasons why, in terms of smart contracts, cutting out the middleman, and all the benefits of speed, security, scalability that Web 3 is going to bring. We are going to have the benefits of all of that. And as Alejandro has said, we are first mover advantage here. We're not just talking about Cardano. We're starting on there, but we're going to end up on every chain, every major ecosystem: Ethereum, Matic, Algo, Solana. We're coming. And then, to spread out to those, once we built the platform and the betting mechanisms, which again are very easy. We've done all of that. CoinFlip was our first. The team we've got as our devs, again, we've got that experience and expertise ready to go. We've even got somebody that comes from the online sporting business who's been in it for 3 years now as a manager, and he really knows and understands it, and he's part of our team. Obviously, he doesn't want to dox in terms of face and full name, but he's in the paper, he's on the server with his background. Arv is his name, and Eric, of course, our developer to do with the platforms. Again, docs from a point of view on the platform. They will all be on the website when the website's up, by the way, but and again in the paper. So we've got it, we've assembled, we've got the expertise to be able to build this all out. And it's just when I saw all of this, and I was just saying, guys, what you've got is amazing. You should be shouting this from the rooftops, and you're quiet like mice. Nobody knows this. Let's get out there and tell the world, man. You can share it with them.
Yeah, there's a few things that you said too, because I was filling out shout outs real quick to Crasher and Bombers that are minting pretty soon, August 1st. But I was filling out their whitelist application, and it was asking me something about like best projects or something in the Cardano space. And I was just thinking, I was like, all the projects that have done the best weren't even necessarily the best projects. They were the people with the most conviction in their voice, and they spoke the loudest. Those projects almost always doubled or tripled their floor price, had a bunch of hype minting out, and it lasted for at least a few months before the project either failed or turned into something much bigger. So having a big voice, believing in what you're doing, and not being afraid to say it and like show it with your chest out, like it goes a long way for sure. So I love that you can add that to the team. I think what you guys have going is pretty cool. So yeah, just continue to shout, and I think, you're going to be just fine. The other thing too, I was going to say is I just came back from vacation, and while I was away with my best friends, they were all telling me that they got into sports betting, and they're just like, I love sports, but
Right.
it's just like something that makes it a little bit more entertaining. Like we've all watched sports a million times. It's become a little stale. So now they're just like, I just want to risk, even if it's $10, it makes them enjoy the game that much more. So people in sports culture kind of don't even care sometimes to win. They're just trying to do it to enjoy the game a little bit more, which sounds maybe a little bit foreign to some people who aren't a part of sports, but it is something that they look forward to.
Yeah, this is a growing culture, and you can see how every year, and this is something that I've been talking about with the team. Every year you're gonna see you have at least one friend. If you think about your friend group, you have at least one friend that makes sports bets in any sport. Doesn't matter what sport. But the thing is that we're seeing this switching from, maybe 5 years ago, people were not really into doing sports betting as much as now, but now it is something that so many people is looking at this as a normal thing now, because it has been normalized so much that you can just imagine what's going to happen in 10 years. You're going to have 3, 4, 5 friends that are talking about sports betting on a monthly basis or on a yearly basis. But the thing is that we have this social stigma that's, as Joe mentioned, that's fading away, and more people are entering into the space, which is awesome.
Yeah, 100%. And Uncle P actually has a question from the chat. He says, have all membership cards been distributed, or does the team still have some of them?
Ooh, that's a secret. No, really kidding. We do have some. We definitely have some, and they will be distributed. And that is going to be one of the things, that people will be able to win as part of our marketing and preparation for the pre-sale. So, from joining our Discord, our server, and participating in a very fun way, we are going to be able to have whitelists that people will be able to use for the pre-sale. We will have OGs, even though we obviously had OGs going back to the original start of the project and for the membership cards. We are adding to that, so there will be more OG spots that are available, and we have some membership cards which obviously we have minted right originally, and plus we have obviously bought out of off the floor when they were going for silly prices. So yes, we do have a few membership cards which will be available as time goes on, and different ways to actually win them. There's one thing actually, Nick, that you said there, which I think is very important. The statistics now are even saying that the average bet is in the US is between $10 and $25. It's not hundreds or thousands, 10 and 25. And the majority though is under 10. So many bets are 10, between 10 and 25, but the majority even then is under $10 a bet. So it is, it's not like people are trying to make a fortune or anything else. It's just the fun aspect of being able to take part in the sport that you love.
It's the
100%.
It's a thrill that you get when you're watching a sport. You put $5, $10 and the team scores a touchdown, scores a goal. You get that excitement and you're with your friends and they're all celebrating. It's the moment. It's the joy that you get just putting a little bit of money. You don't have to win big. You're not looking to win hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you're just looking for that excitement. And that's
Right.
the beauty of it.
I like it. Sorry, I like it too when you're like at a bar or something and you just hear like the guys in the background, like even if it's not for your team, right? They're just cheering. You hear the whole roar. They come out of nowhere. And when I remember when I was younger, I was like, why do these people care so much? Why do they always yell at the TV? And I was just like, I mean, sure, some people do it for the love of the game, but I do think now in hindsight, a lot of these people were definitely putting some money on because those were some manly roars. You know what I mean?
The other thing that's lovely as well, I think naturally we try to kind of support the underdog. So I know something like that's really big in the UK is the Grand National, this great big horse racing event that even if someone's never bet before and is not really interested in any kind of betting, they always seem to get involved in the Grand National. Even if they don't place a bet, they're in their families, they're saying that's the horse I'm picking, and so you've got something to cheer during the race, and that's my horse. Yeah, it's going. Yeah, look at that. It's in the lead. It's, oh no. But the people choose the underdog, and how often the underdog at 100-1 or even more has come in and won. Fantastic. So yeah, it does add so much to. It does just add so much to what you're watching and what you're doing.
And then you have the old uncle that comes in and he's like, I told you to put it on Seabiscuit. What are you doing? Whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
I see Snap's question. It's about staking with the membership card. And then will to earn while the team is building the platform. I love NFTs that earn tokens. Also, how does the token hold or increase its value? Thanks. Which I also do have some questions leading up to that. But let's stick with the first part of this question. Can the membership cards be staked?
Not at the moment.
Gotcha. Will that be
tokenomics? We do have a percentage that is going to be allocated to membership card holders. So there will be a snapshot and membership card holders will get a free airdrop of alpha tokens.
Gotcha.
Also, this is not for the membership cards, but once you get that airdrop and you have those alpha tokens, we also are going to have farming. So with those tokens, you will be able to farm and earn more tokens.
We don't want to give much information about some of these things out, Nick, because obviously we want to be able to carry on promoting things as we go along. But really, the membership cards, not only is this airdrop in the paper, we've spoken about that, it's 3% of the total tokens that are going to be available. And again, that's the tokenomics is out, so it's no big secret. 325 billion is what the actual total number of tokens are going to be. And we even had on the Discord people saying, well, my goodness, that's a lot. Well, everything's relative, isn't it? When it comes to any project, we chose those numbers very carefully based on a lot of things. But one of the most important things is the fact that we need to allow an awful lot of growth because it's a huge market that we're hoping to take a bigger and bigger percentage of as time goes on. But the point is, the token is going to be the actual ecosystem of our betting platform. And if you start with a token that's like $2, $5 or whatever, and it goes up 1,000%, then to place a bet, you're going to have to place thousands of dollars bet. People aren't going to do that. So we're starting with a token with a very, very low value, each token, and that's why we've got 325 billion. And of course, you're talking about many people worldwide who eventually will be using them. So again, you need a huge supply. But the thing is that 3% of that total supply is going to be airdropped completely free to membership card holders. That's far better than staking. They're just going to do so well from that. And then, as I said before, 25% of our revenue, which will start straight after the platform, the basic platform is complete, because that's when betting on the platform will start straight away. We'll talk about that more perhaps in a minute, but actually we'll be doing betting on the actual Discord, because we'll be into NFL season, by the time the actual token is launched on the DEX and the pre-sale is complete. So people will be able to bet straight away on the Discord for the NFL. And of course, that will be bringing in revenue, which again, we will share with membership card holders as part of all of the revenue, including the platform, once that's completed, the first part of it anyway. Sorry.
I was going to add on to what you were saying, that one of the things that we think it's really good and that our community will love is that we're gonna start to add on sports to the platform, and those sports that are not in the platform, people will still be able to make bets on them via Discord. So it will be an all-around thing in which you can make bets on some sports via Discord while we're adding that sport to the platform, but you will also have sports that you can bet on directly in the platform.
That's pretty cool. And I wanted to take it back to the airdrops that you're going to get, the 25%/7% from holding certain NFTs over time. Because you're going to be using your token to do the gambling, will you be receiving the token as your airdrop?
Yes.
In the pre-sale, obviously people will buy the token from the pre-sale. The airdrop is going to be, the airdrop doesn't apply to the NFTs which are going to be produced future, the Wolfpack ones, because obviously that will be way after the actual launch of the token. So they will just get 7% of the revenue. So we're talking two different things here. The revenue, monthly revenue from the sports betting on the platform is what they will be getting as soon as it's launched. It'll be based on the rarities of the cards and the numbers you hold. So that'll just be, distributed that way.
Will that be in Cardano though, or will that be in Alpha token?
That will be in Alpha tokens.
Okay.
So membership card holders will get 25% monthly in revenue of the Alpha tokens, which will come out of the betting pool. We're going to have a betting pool that all of the Alpha that goes in there for winning and losing bets is going to come out of there and go in there. So the excess Alpha that we have at the end of every month, that's going to be the profit. And from that excess Alpha, we're going to take 25% and it's going to go to membership card holders, and 7% is going to go to Wolfpack holders.
Gotcha.
And while we're talking about the membership card and the benefits of it, the other things that are in the white paper to do with the membership card, because there's a lot. We really are focused lots and lots of benefits for the people who hold these cards. They are going to be guaranteed again in the pre-sale the highest levels of ADA purchase of the token. OGs after that, and whitelists after that. So and basically the platinum card being the rarest will get the highest value of ADA purchase of pre-sale tokens, then gold, then silver, and it will be stackable. So if you got 2, 3, or 4, based on whatever the value is of each one, you can add those together. You don't have to obviously mint all of it. It's up to you what you mint, but it'll give you the right to be able to mint that value's worth, ADA's worth of tokens. So that's brilliant with the membership card. Then we've already talked about the 25%. We've talked about the airdrop, which is going to be 3% of the total tokens dropped to people after. Now the thing is, obviously, what we don't want people to do is to just receive these airdrops and just sell them, because we want to protect everything for the community as a whole. So the airdrop will be in 2 stages. The first one will be 6 weeks after the launch on the DEX, and the second drop of 50% of what is due to you will come 12 weeks after. But the whole aim of what we're doing, not just in the white paper and through this, is to educate people that this is not a meme coin. This is the ecosystem for a multi-billion business that is going to be built. And really, everything you hold on to is only going to add and add and add and grow and grow and grow to the value of what it is that you hold. Even tokens, if you're never going to gamble or whatever else, but you are able to either mint in the pre-sale or you're able to buy off the decks after, all we imagine happening is the value increasing. Now, nothing goes up in a straight line, and it doesn't go to the moon straight away, even though people want that and expect that. We know there'll be pullbacks. They always are. But over the longer term, the value of all of these things is only going to go up because the reach, the global reach of what we're building is going to get bigger and bigger, and the revenue from these markets is only going to get greater and greater, and all of that is going to be reflected in what we give back to the community. So that's really what that's really the crux of it. And so what are the other benefits? Well, you're going to be guaranteed to be able to mint the wolf pack. You get guaranteed whitelists, and you're going to get a discount on those prices for whatever the mint price is for the wolf pack. So as I said, we're going to have merch because we're talking about branding. We want to be recognized as the business in sports betting everywhere in the world. And that's people wearing hoodies which have got our logo on it, have got our images on it, cups, pens, bags, all of that kind of stuff. So that'll, the wolf pack, will follow on into the merch as well. So will the token itself, the alpha token. And, our membership card holders are going to get a discount on being able to buy that merch. So it's all. These membership cards are just benefit to the holders of them, because they are our partners. They are part owners of the project and of the betting platform. And that's what we want to be able to do later for many more people through the wolf pack, but obviously to a lesser degree, and shared out with many more people. But the earliest people now with the membership cards are the ones who are going to really benefit the most with us.
Are there going to be any sort of restrictions for U.S. investors? CMAT wants to know, is the pre-sale open to U.S. investors?
Yes, it is. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any problem with any of the launches of tokens for citizens of the United States. Where the problem arises is with actually using the platform and betting, because obviously there are some states where it's still illegal. I mean, what we're talking about, it's worthwhile just talking about, about regulation. And this is the huge benefit of Carlos and Alejandro, coming from citizens of Panama City, living there, because, that's where we are going to have the company registered. Our company, the company that is Sports Alpha Club, is going to be registered properly as a full company in Panama as soon as we've got a legal team, we've got an accounting team. The legal team have said you have to wait till you launch the token and it's on the decks before you can apply for, or the best time to apply for the company being registered. And secondly, for us to apply for the gaming license, which means that, we have proper licenses, we are properly registered. It means that actually we're in a country that's crypto friendly. We're in a country that will have no tax for that. So huge benefits, which we will be passing all of this down to our holders, our members, our community. But when it comes to the legalities, obviously we will make people aware that they cannot and should not be using the platform to gamble, coming from places where they live, where it is illegal, whether it's the country or whether it's a state. You can't do any more than that, because people can use all different methods to kind of hide where they are and where they're coming from. So all we can do is put out that warning. If they break it, they're the ones who are breaking the law. They're the ones who are, by their own country's laws, liable for prosecution. But other than that, we are going to, this is open to people from all around the world. They have to exercise their own regulations for their countries.
Right. I think the way, and Alejandro, I'll let you speak. Actually, I'll let you go first, but you're muted right now. So just letting you know.
Thanks. I was going to say that we're going to have a list of restricted territories. So, we're going to have all those warnings in place on the platform saying if you're a resident of one of the following territories, you must not access the sports betting platform. And we're going to have the full list in compliance with all the regulatory and legal compliance around the world.
So you'll probably have to block it using some sort of like checker to see where the IP is coming from or something like that, correct?
We're looking at different ways. The platform Stake, the
Stake?
yeah, the gambling platform, the
Let me see.
casino platform, Stake.com.
I haven't heard of it. I'll bring it up though.
Yeah, yeah, they're one of the biggest casinos in the world. It's the first one.
Right here.
Yeah, that one. So yeah, exactly. So as you can see, I don't know where you're currently at, Nick.
Yeah, I'm in Georgia actually. So when you said that you were in Georgia, I was like, oh, that's crazy. Or when you went to school in Georgia, rather.
What part of Georgia are you in?
Right now I'm in Hall County. So it's kind of close to like Gainesville, that kind of area. It's like
Gaines?
northern Georgia.
My school was actually in Gainesville.
What was
It's
it called?
Riverside Military Academy.
Let me see. I just moved here from Lawrenceville, so I've only been here for a few months, but let me see. Okay.
Riverside Military Academy. Yeah, that one. Riverside Preparatory Academy. Exactly.
Oh, that's pretty cool, man. I was going to ask you too, how did you like going to a military school? Because I've never been myself. Like, how is it different from other schools?
I actually ended up going there because my father and my grandfather both went to that school.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. So you
Yeah,
got like a family legacy. Did they know like when you got there, were they just like, oh, like I knew your father, I knew your dad?
there were some people that actually knew them. Yeah, one of my dad's coaches, and he's still there. He's very old now, but yeah,
That's
that
awesome, man.
was really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget. Well, we're talking about Stake. Yeah. So I'm in the US, so I guess it's not going to let me use it. Or specifically Georgia is not going to let me use it.
Okay, okay. But you were able to log into the site. That would actually be interesting to see if you would be able to log in and have an account. Um,
Yeah, I could probably use a VPN to do it, but I don't think it's going to let me. Yeah, I'm not going to try right now.
but anyways, that
Yeah.
that platform is one of the biggest casino platforms in the world. As you can see, Drake right there. He is one of the biggest representatives of the platform. If you go onto Drake's Instagram, you're gonna see that he even has them in their bio. And from what I've seen, every time I've tried to use it in any other place in the States, for example, that is legal, um, there have been no problem, with accessing the platform. But I have never tried from an illegal state, so that's why I'm now curious about if they would let you access it or not. So that's something that we're gonna have to see, because they have in every single legal state you can access it, no problem, and it is a crypto platform, so they only use Bitcoin and several other cryptocurrencies. They don't use any fiat.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I don't really do any sports betting myself, so I didn't know about Stake. All I'd really known about is DraftKings because it was like one of those hype IPOs back in the day, like a few years ago. So I
Right.
knew about DraftKings, but yeah, I didn't know Stake.us was already using crypto to gamble. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fully crypto.
Do you know how much this company does per year in revenue? Because I think comparing this site to what you're expecting would be a better estimate as opposed to, comparing the entire gambling market.
I'm actually not sure of how much they're making revenue, but I do know that there is a section that's called, I'm not quite sure of the name. I think it's high wagers, and you can see real time the live bets that are being put on, and there's people betting their 50,000, 40,000, 30,000, and that's second by second. They're moving millions of dollars daily.
That's
Yeah.
wild. And then can people use, like, let's say you lose a large amount of money. Can you use these as tax write-offs, like a loss through gambling? Can you use that as a tax loss?
I mean, it is a loss, so you should be able to use that as a tax loss. Now that you mention it, if you win on betting, you have to report it and you have to pay taxes on it. So I figure that if you lose, that should be considered a tax law and a tax break off. So yeah.
Yeah, because I would imagine this would be very beneficial for companies as well. Because you could either, take some of your excess gains, right, and then either double it or whatever you're trying to do, or lose it and just write it off as a tax loss. Like either way, the company kind of can win in that sense.
Right. Exactly.
We haven't decided to use that as a marketing ploy, but it might be a very interesting one, Nick.
Hey, I'm always thinking,
No, absolutely. We love it. Love it.
That's something that we haven't really thought about, because since we're gonna be in a tax haven, we're not gonna be paying any taxes. So that's one of the beauties about registering a company in Panama, that we're in one of the biggest tax havens in the world, not only in Latin America or South America, in the whole world.
That's awesome. And so taking it back to Alpha Token a little bit, so people are going to be getting these tokens, and then you're waiting, I think it was, you said 6 weeks and then 12 weeks before they can get their airdrop from the pre-sale. Or is that for the pre-sale, or is that for the NFT holders?
No. The tokens themselves will be distributed prior to the launch on the DEX. So we'll have the pre-sale where people actually pay their ADA that they want to buy as many tokens as they're allowed to. And those tokens then, once the pre-sale is complete with the minter, the tokens will be distributed to the people who have bought them in the pre-sale. And then the token will be actually launched on the DEX. But the free airdrop is what will be 6 weeks and 12 weeks after it goes live on the DEX.
Gotcha. And then is there an implementation? Because I read on there that there's a burning mechanic. Is this going to be a way to keep the token retaining some of that value?
Exactly. But obviously the burning mechanisms are something that we will reveal later again, but that is meant to be a little bit more in time, not straight away. Otherwise we just reduce the number of tokens we're actually launching. What we'll do is monitor exactly what is taking place, on the DEX with the token, with the betting, and then we will anyway, regardless, we will go through a burning mechanism to make the value of the tokens more and more as time goes on. But as I said, the rate at which we do that and how we do that is going to have to depend on a lot of information, which we will gather in the earlier months, and then we will decide, and then we will announce it. But definitely it is very much part of our roadmap to have various burn mechanisms. Gotcha.
And then I wanted to bring up I think here it is, your coinflip.io. So this is cardanocoinflip.io if anybody is interested in it. And you can select, your Cardano wallet, and then you can gamble an amount of coin of Cardano to try to double. And it's like a coin flip. It's literally a 50-50. So how did this come about, and how does this work? Like, is there a certain amount of liquidity that's on the website that, there's like a limit, like the most you can maybe try to gamble is like 1,000, or, because if there's only 100K on here and somebody tries to double 200K, what would happen?
Right. So with the coin flip, we actually implemented that a couple of months ago. You can actually do right now, if you connect your wallet, that's going to take you to another page, and in that page is where you will be able to see exactly, you will be able to go for heads or tails, and you will have the 6 different betting options. And once you select the option that you want to go for, you click double or nothing. Then you have to sign the transaction, and once you sign the transaction, it's basically, it's gonna show you the flip, and you'll be able to see whether you won or lost. I was looking at the recent dashboard that you had, and I think that you have to refresh the website, because I was looking at old results.
Oh, okay.
There you go. You're gonna see a different place now. So yeah, you should be able to.
Heads with it 5 ADA, double or nothing. Oh, here it is. Eternal sometimes takes a little while on my PC.
No worries.
All right. Some of here it goes.
Come on, big money. Hey, let's go.
You won. Look at that, live online. You've actually
Let's
won. Great
go.
stuff.
And there you can go onto the dashboard on the upper right section. If you click on dashboard, you will be able to see the full-time stats right there. So the volume that was flipped, the amount of users that have won, that have lost, and the highest won streak, as well as the most earning wallets as well.
That's awesome. So is there like how much is on here right now for liquidity? Like what's the max amount that I could risk?
Well, you can only, if you look, when you remember when you just did that, it only offered you 6 different choices.
I see.
Yeah. So you can do the 100 ADA and you can keep going as much as you like, whether you win or you lose. That's just, entirely up to you. And because it's 50-50, there only needs to be a set amount for every one of the tokens which you can actually do a flip on as part of the pool. And obviously we review that regularly, but it's all calculated as what we need as an absolute minimum of tokens for a period of time. And then of course, obviously, depending on how that goes, we might have to increase or it's surplus and we can remove from the pool. But the tokens which are on there, which are not ADA, belong to projects. They're project tokens. So as you saw, Hosky's on there, Spacebugs Alpha's on there, Banks on there. So basically, these are projects that we've partnered with to be able to do this. But this is just the tip of the iceberg because so many projects in the CNFT space have tokens and are looking for additional utility. So, this is another part of our marketing more recently where we're reaching out to projects. We have a lot of very interested projects we will just bit by bit adding more tokens to it. So the communities of these many projects will soon be able to, use their token on here as well. But it has to be added. It's not something that's automatic.
Yeah, so you have a bunch of coins that you can gamble for on here. For sports, do you know like what kind of sports you want to have available? I know that you have the main ones. You have like soccer, basketball, football, baseball, NHL even. You even have hockey on there. Do you want to literally cover every single sport, or are there some sports that maybe aren't worth including?
So, since we're going to take an approach of process approach in which we're going to start with some sports and then we're going to start to add on more and more sports. Our goal is to tackle first every single major sport in the world, and once we have all of the major sports in the world, we can start to add those third party sports that are not as big but still have a niche or a following around the world, and we get them. But we're going to be focused right now on the big ones, which NFL, college football, NBA, college basketball, soccer. Then we can look into MLB and all of the other major sports in the US, UFC, tennis. There are so many sports and so many different options that I can go on and talk to you for a long time about this. But basically, our goal is to incorporate every single major sport at first, and then move on to the alternate sports, as you could call them.
Could
Gotcha.
I just say that when we say all of the major sports, we are talking the major US sports as the first stage of our platform build. I mean, in the actual paper, there is many stages to the roadmap.
You're muted.
Yeah, sorry. So there's many
you're good.
stages to the actual roadmap, and the first stage really is building out the platform for just the major US betting markets. So we're talking football, so NFL and college football. We're talking about baseball, which is again NBA and college baseball, and then we're talking basketball. Sorry, and then we're talking about football. Soccer, in the US. That's stage one. Then when we reach that stage, two things are going to happen. We're then talking about more globally, not just sports, but also tokens. we, as I said before, we want to be able to have our sports betting platform being used not just within the Cardano ecosystem with the Alpha token. We want to be being used by Ethereum, Solana, Matic, all of those. And so the second stage will be expanding out into the world of other cryptocurrencies, but also worldwide to all of these other sports, which are major in the world, huge earners in terms of revenues of sports. There's no point, trying to go after the much smaller and more obscure ones at this stage. So the second stage will be, out from the US into the world, into the bigger ones. But we're talking after, that's going to be stage 3 really, and into stage 4. So it's everything that we're doing is structured such that it is stages, and the aim is to raise the funding, to build, to test, to release, to build, to test, to release, and that's why we're taking the stage also that initially the betting on the platform will be taking place on the actual server whilst they're building the very basic platform. And that will be really, because we'll still be in the NFL season, that will be to be able to bet on the platform for the NFL season, and that being ready round about Christmas time, the beginning of next year. And then if you look obviously at the seasons, then obviously it'll be the next big one in the US that's beginning to run, and the next and the next. So over the next 6 months after that, it will be bringing all these to life on that platform. So it's probably roughly a year before we move beyond the 5 major US ones that we're targeting and start the stage that we're going global, both in terms of tokens and world sports.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was doing a little bit of research and I saw that soccer made up something like 70% of all sports bets in the world or something. And so I thought that was incredible. So I know you're definitely going to be trying to get soccer. And if you're in the other part of the world, football. But Carlos, what's your favorite, soccer team? Like, what do you personally like to bet on yourself? Do you bet on soccer? Do you bet on other sports?
Well, I like to bet in soccer, but mostly for my country selection team. For example, they play today against the US at 7:30 p.m. East. It's the Gold Cup. So I like to bet in games like those ones. I also like the Spanish league. I like Barcelona. That's my favorite team in the Spanish league.
Gotcha. When you bet, do you like to bet on the bigger teams or the more local teams? Do you think, it's maybe a little bit less, I don't know if this is going to trigger some people, but like rigged, do you think it's less rigged for local teams?
It depends. I like to bet most in if the team won or score most, but there are people that they like more betting more into players, or for example into corners or sides, for example, stuff like that.
Gotcha. That kind of ties in a little bit with another question I had. What kind of bets are going to be available? Because my friends were showing me you can bet pitch by pitch on baseball, and I didn't even know you could do that.
Yes.
On my way home, we had like a 18-hour drive. My brother's like, yo, I just made like $200. And I was like, how? It's been like 1 minute since we've been in the car. And he's just like, oh, I bet that this guy would hit a double. And he hit a double. And I was like, you can bet on a single pitch, on like a single at bat? And he was like, yep. So I was just like blown away by that. But how are you guys going to handle that? Is it going to be that in depth, or will it be, slowly but surely, just starting as like a win or loss and then going into kind of the more in depth, pitch by pitch?
So we're gonna start with money lines, spreads, and over unders. When I say money line, I'm talking about win or lose. When I say spreads, I'm talking about, for example, if you have Philadelphia Eagles -6, that means that they're gonna win the game by 6 points or more, by 7 points or more. And over unders, it's over a certain amount of points or under a certain amount of points. So once we have those established, we're going to start to move on to player props. So player props is amount of points that they're going to score, if they're going to score in the first half. It's so many different things that you can, if you take a look at the categories and things that you can bet on players. It's crazy the amount of bets that you can make. And once we have established money line over unders and spreads, we're going to move on to player props. And once we have player props and money lines over unders and spreads, that's when you can start to, maybe think about having other things, as in, for example, I think that one of a very big market when we're talking about betting is people that like to make live bets. So let's say a team is down by 3, and that way the multiplier that you have is way bigger. They like to put money in those moments, for example. And basically, as you just said, slowly but surely, we're going to have an all around betting ecosystem in which you're not only going to be able to bet on a team, you'll be able to bet on a player, you'll be able to bet on the outcome of a long term outcome. So, as saying who's going to win the championship, who's going to win the tournament, and it's going to be all different kinds of bets. For the Super Bowl, there is a big number of bets that are only on player props. That's a huge market worldwide, and we cannot miss out on those numbers and on all that market that is out there for someone to offer it to. So we're definitely going to be all around to have as many eyes as possible and as many customers as possible when making sports bets.
Gotcha. And then the other question I had was related to, you actually have a basketball game in your Discord. So do you want to, I'm going to go into Discord, and do you want to walk me through how to play your basketball match? I think it's How to Basketbot is what it's called.
Joe, do you want to talk about basketball?
Sure. Well, it's not actually a game for betting on, live betting or anything else at all. It's just like Rumble or Stumble Guys, or one of those games that can entertain your community. And because it was to do with sporting, our community manager, a shout out to him, Braden. Great guy. He's and the rest of the mods as well, with Justin. Big shout out to them as well. They said that, why not try this, because the community might love it, because it's in keeping with an area that we're into while we're actually building and preparing for the sports launch. So that's what that's exactly what they have researched. The install the actual the bot in the server and open that up for people to be able to play. And it's one where you actually collect cards, player cards, and you actually if you go to court 1 and court 2, does it show you some of that? There you go. So yeah, so the game is all about that, really. It's collecting cards, and it's just for fun. No one pays anything, no one buys anything, no one bets on anything. It's just really for fun.
How would I get started? Like, what's the first thing I should do if I wanted to just mess around with it?
You have to ask Braden, I'm afraid.
Okay. Gotcha. I think I saw a daily in here. Let me go ahead and see what a daily does.
It's going to give you a set of picks.
Oh, okay. Application does not respond. Come on now. Maybe what? Oh, there we go. One very common key card or card key and 1 pick tokens. And then what else was in here? /drop/claim. Let me see what claim does. Okay, so I got $121 and then drop, right? Or was it drops? I think it's drop. Okay, so pick between these 3 by clicking their corresponding buttons. Man, I've loved sports. I've never watched sports. Even when I played sports for like 15 years of my life, and I just never really watched sports. So I don't know who these people are. Let's go with this one. If you're dunking and you're sideways,
you think you've got a problem? I'm from the UK, and I've got no idea about the NFL, the NBA, any of that. I kind of tend to love tennis. So I watch Wimbledon, and I love the world football. But that's I know obviously there's soccer that's really big in the UK, and so many teams and so much betting that takes place. But I'm familiar, because so many people talk about them, of some of the biggest teams that we've got in the UK, whether it's Man U or Liverpool or whatever. but I've never been, like you. I've never necessarily been, a regular every week fan watching the games, turning up, and all that kind of thing. I think you either love it or you don't, and it depends what else is going on in your life. So yeah, likewise, I kind of, could tell you a little bit about tennis and Wimbledon, but and World Cup,
Fair.
but that's it. Football.
Yeah, I used it as like a superpower when I was younger because people would be like, "Oh, we're playing this team," like, "Oh," and my team would be all a little nervous or on edge a little bit, and I would just be like, "I don't know who these people are. I'm just going out there to play the game."
Absolutely.
So I kind of liked to keep it that way, but as I got older, I was like, "Dang, I can't relate to any of these conversations," and I'm a sports guy to some degree. But no, this is pretty cool. You do /drop, you do /claim, you can pick cards. They told me to pick the cards carefully, though, or quickly, rather, as others can steal your cards. So if you're going to play, maybe, be a quick reactor.
You can do 3v3 games against someone else.
3v3s? How do we... Oh, so can you take, like, do you take one card, or you take, like, 3 cards and try to pin them up against somebody else's 3 cards?
Exactly. You got to pin them up. You see, he made the choices.
Oh, okay, so you pick these 2.
Yeah.
Pick between these 3. So how does it work with the remaining one? Somebody else can pick, or
Somebody else can steal your pick and basically can steal the cards that you don't use.
okay, so then he has to run it.
And yeah, and there's a game basically. Look, it's like they're playing a basketball game right now.
Oh wow, this is just like Rumble, but instead of killing people, you're like passing and taking shots or getting the ball stolen.
Yeah, it's basically a basketball game.
That's all. This is like a commentator just like, "Oh, and he passes it down the court to Braun."
Yeah.
No, this is awesome. Yeah. I like this.
So another game that we have via Discord that's going to start, we're aiming to start it again once NFL season starts, is our weekly NFL pick'ems, which, we dropped a number of games and users go into Discord and they pick all of the winners of those games. And, the person that has the most accurate pick'em wins a certain amount of ADA. And, that was a really fun thing that we did for our community. And
I think right now there's a pick'em going on, isn't there? Not for money, but just for fun. If you go, which channel is that? It's might actually be NFL further up, I think.
No, there's no NFL right now. There was an MLB pick'em.
MLB?
Yeah, so I know that there was an MLB pick'em running. I think if you go up for the in the channels,
here?
if you go to MLB pick'em, you should be.
Oh, okay. Get your picks in before July 14th.
Exactly.
There you go.
Literally just posted. Hey, he's helping me out. He's in the. I love you, man. Appreciate you. Mikey's asked me this a few times, and I keep forgetting. I apologize, Mikey. He says, when UK football? And then he says, what do you have in store for Europe? And then he says, yes, I hear you. But what about betting in the UK? Yeah, I hear you, Mikey. I'm sorry, man. I got you.
So Europe is a very big betting market. People in Europe, they really are big soccer fans. They're really into soccer. As Mike just mentioned, when UK football. And once we start to do football, soccer is one of our main 5 sports that we're going to first add on. And once we add those first 5 major sports, when we're talking about soccer, we're going to talk about all the big leagues around the world. And of course, the Premier League in the UK is I think the second or third biggest league in the world, if not the first. So, we're talking about the Spanish league, the Premier League, the Paris, the French league, and those very big leagues that are part of the Champions League. So when we're talking about soccer, you can definitely count on UK football, or the Prem, as people like to call it, being one of the first soccer leagues that are going to be added on.
Gotcha. So hopefully that answers your question, Mikey. And then, these are just some more basic questions that I've just had. I think we've answered all the more specific stuff.
Nick, are you gonna have a go with the pick'em? If you just click on the actual Google Doc
right here.
Yeah,
we can go ahead and do that. Let me bring it over here.
I'm personally not a very big baseball fan, so I won't be able to give you any help with any picks.
Oh, that's all right. That's basically the only thing I kind of know. I just don't know like relative. Like I don't know how the Padres are this year or how they were last year. Like I just know how they were when I was playing. So I'm just gonna have to pick. Let's see. I know the Phillies. They had Albert Pujols, I want to say, for a while. Doubt they still have him. I don't even know if he still plays, but I'll pick that.
I don't know if the Phillies still have Mike Trout. I think he was.
Oh, true. I
He's
forgot about
he's
Mike
a very
Trout.
good player.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm basically going off of one player. I have like probably one player in my head from all of these, and they probably don't even play
you
anymore.
never know. You never know. It might just be right.
Yeah, that's true. Let's go with Marlins. I used to play for the little league team back in Massachusetts when I was on Diamondbacks.
Nice.
Let's go with Dodgers because screw New York. I'm a Boston fan, so always
Oh,
gotta hate on New York.
always gotta hate on New York.
We'll go Reds. Gotta pick Atlanta because that's where we live in. Gotta go with the Sox. We'll go Rangers. We'll go Tampa. We'll go Nationals, and I just can't. I think the Yankees are gonna win, but I just can't. There we go.
Well, very, very best of luck on that one, Nick.
Thank you. If anybody wants to go play, I mean, hey, free to play. Go join up. But yeah,
You said you had a few more questions that were in the.
Yeah. So reading through your white paper, I came across a statement, and you've said this too, that says based off of 1% of the overall sports gambling revenue, your holders can expect to earn several million USD each year, or at least that's the hope, that's the goal. And this is similar, I think, with gaming NFTs, where they mention the overall revenue that comes into gaming each year. And they mentioned if they were able to receive even a small fraction of that money, then they, along with everyone else who participates in their NFT, would be, in theory, in profit or able to profit in some way. So the games that, for NFT gaming, the games take a while to come out. They're usually not the top tier games. And then the hype kind of dies out. And that whole, we're going to become the best and get 1% or 3% revenue just kind of goes away. So how do you guys plan on getting people to use your site to gamble on sports as opposed to them doing something that's already available, like using a DraftKings or using sports.com or whatever that other stake.com?
Right. So we have an advantage that none of these other sports betting sites have. And it's that by being a membership card holder, you're not only owning an NFT of the project, you have a percentage of ownership on the sports betting platform. And one of the things that we have on our white paper is that we're going to have partnerships with different influencers, with different leagues, with different teams, and it's really pointing out all of the benefits that you will get from using our platform versus using DraftKings, in which if you go to DraftKings and you put a $200 bet and you lose that money, it's gone and you can no longer get it back. Whilst if you have an NFT of the project and you're going to use the platform, you already know that at the end of the month, you're going to get a monthly revenue airdrop. And not only that, you're going to have discounted rates on your betting. So you're going to get better numbers than what you would get at DraftKings or any of these other sports books. So it's really pointing out all of the benefits that we're going to have, because it's not only that, it's not only having a monthly revenue, which I think that's already huge, and not only having a discounted rate on the bets that you make, it's also that you have a percentage of ownership. You will have a say in what happens with the platform. We will have a governance system in which if you are a membership card holder, you have a say and you have a voice. You will be heard. You will be able to make votes on different changes, implementations, suggestions, upgrades, updates, anything you can think of. You will be a part owner of a sports betting platform. So I think that anyone that is able to see that as it is, which is being an owner of a sports betting platform and having that vision, is going to be able to recognize, wait, I shouldn't be using DraftKings or Bet365 or any of these other betting places where when I can go onto a platform that's going to give me monthly revenues. I will have better multipliers, better spreads, so I'll be able to potentially make more money, and I will have a say in the platform. It's not just a platform that's looking to take my money and that's it. No, we're looking to build with the investors, and we're looking, we're a very big partnership. That's what we see the membership card holders as being a part of the project. They're partners of the project. They're, they're shareholders basically.
Right.
And we're extending that as well, because obviously, as we said, there's only 500 cards. But we're extending. That's why we're extending it to include the PFPs, the Wolfpack NFTs when they come out. So it will be to many more people. But the other thing, to just also add to what Alejandro said, I mean, that's huge. People will realize that. This is what I'm saying about going from high street to Web 2 to coming to Web 3. So much more different Web 3 in terms of what crypto is all about. But the other thing about us is the fact that we're talking about doing all of this with Alpha token. If you're doing that with the US dollar, what is the world consensus of where the US dollar is going? With Alpha, the only thing that can happen is as more and more people use it, and because we're not going to increase the supply, we can't. It's going to be fixed, and we're going to have a burn mechanism. So it's only going to go up in value. So if you have and you hold and you use it as such, Alpha itself is going to go up in value, not just the revenue and everything else. The token itself is going to go up in value greatly as more and more people use it, as we conquer more and more of the world market. By that, I don't mean going up 5, 10, 15, 20. I mean, that's possible. It's very possible. If we're first mover advantage and we built out a platform that works and is, for world sports, why not? But, we're just starting really conservative and saying not even 1%, 1/10 of 1%. So the point really is that as people begin to use it more and more for sports all around the world, the token itself is going to become worth considerably more. And that's why I said right at the beginning, that was one of the most important things that we could decide on, with the numbers of tokens and the value of the token at launch, to give us lots of growth potential, and yet not be the $5, $10, $20, $100.
Right. And no, that's a good point, because what I was going to rebuttal with is, of course, the people who are invested in the platform and own one of the 500, they're definitely going to want to use your platform to stake or not to stake, but to bet and gamble with, because they're going to be getting a percentage of that back regardless of win or lose, because they're a holder. But because the way that this becomes extremely successful is if you have people who don't hold those NFTs also using your platform. And that is the real money, millionaire scenario for these people who are investing, is when other people who don't own the NFTs still prefer to use your platform, whether it's the better, or best UI, or the cheaper fees, or the ease of access or tax benefits, whatever it may benefit that others don't. Those are going to be the scenarios that draw in a lot of people and bring us to that kind of glory, that this project can really become. So I like that you said you expect the token to go up in value. It does make me a little nervous, though, because we've seen so many tokens have expectations of going higher for XYZ reasons, and then people just dump on them, for whatever reason, a few weeks later. But that's going to be kind of the doomsday scenario or fear of pretty much any token that launches, whether it's on Cardano or Ethereum. A lot of DeFi does have their quick pump and dumps. So how are you going to try to, maintain a value of the token to prevent it from, having these massive swings?
One of the things that you will see is that the tokens themselves that have previously launched, I don't want to pick any particular token, but quite often there isn't a utility. There isn't a particular use case. It really is a meme coin. And then there are ones which have launched which are not meme coins, but they are like us, they're building. But, if you're talking about gaming tokens, look at I don't really necessarily, but it's a good example. Cornucopias, really well known as the CNFT project by everybody. They've got their token and they're building, and what they're building is superb. The stages as well, each stage being revealed bit by bit by bit. It's growing, it's growing, it's growing. Fantastic. And you see, as they've done that, the token value itself has done really well, and the project has done well, the holders, more and more of them, and people are waiting for that when it all comes together and you can actually play the game. Now, first of all, again, as I said before, this is not a meme token. This is a world utility, absolutely already in existence. All we are having to do is to convince people to use our platform for that. And again, what Alejandro has already said is really good reasons why you should. And as we build out, to more and more sports, all that we can expect to happen is that more and more people, not only the ones who are already there, will be able to bet on more different sports market-wise, but actually more and more people will be able to use it. And that's not just from a worldwide perspective, that's also from a token perspective, because the next stage, as I said, when we're ready, we will launch it. And by launching it does sound like we're starting again. We're not. The platform will be built. Adding a token to being able to use that token on our platform is very easy and will be very easy, whether it's Ethereum, Solana, Matic. So all we're doing is reaching out in allowing those tokens to be used to bet on our platform. But it'll be done in a typical DEX type manner, in the sense that whatever the Ethereum value is will be converted to ADA, converted to the Alpha token. The Alpha token remains the most efficient token to use on our platform. And if people want to use Ethereum or Solana or even ADA, they can, because there will be a direct value of ADA to the actual token. But the best will always be to buy, to hold, and to use on our platform the actual token, not only because you're going to get the best value when you bet, because as I said, it is going to appreciate, because all we're going to do is keep growing and growing and growing. The only way it can't is if people stop betting, and the whole thesis of Web 2 coming to Web 3 and the world coming in terms of adoption to crypto, if that doesn't happen and it's all a failure, in that case, all of crypto and everything that we're all doing is doomed to failure. And we can't say that. But certainly in terms of where technology has gone and how adoptions have taken place and how this is going, and we're talking about AI, for example, as the next technology, which is going to outperform even crypto in terms of adoption and revenue earning. That's great. But the point is, it's not gone away and it's not going away, and we've only just started with the real adoption. So all we can do is expect to grow and grow and grow, and we believe that's what's going to happen.
Exactly.
So with the tokens, will the tokens instantly be able to be used on the trading platform, or rather, will the trading betting platform be built before the token distribution?
Are you talking about Alpha or?
Yeah, Alpha.
So for the Alpha
Yeah.
tokens, will you be able to use them as soon as you get them, or or will it take a little while to build the platform still?
No, as we said initially, it's going to be on
we're gonna have the Discord betting, so you will be able to actually use Alpha tokens around 1 week after you get them. It will have basically instant utility. You will be able to make your bets via Discord while the platform is being built on, and then once we actually launch the platform, then you will be able to transition onto the platform and connect your wallet and start to make those bets via the platform, while you can still make the bets via Discord of the sports that are not in the platform. And a point that I wanted to add to what Joy was saying before was that when we're talking about the governance, not only will membership card holders have a say in the governance, also the Alpha token holders will have a say in the governance. So by actually holding the token and using our platform with the token, you will have a say in what happens to the platform in various topics and the most important things that go on in the platform, which is something that you cannot say the same for DraftKings or for any other sports betting platform.
Gotcha. And I just want to tell everybody in the chat as well, we have a few more minutes, about 10, 15 minutes left. So if anybody in the chat does have any questions, now's the time. And I'm going to continue to ask some questions that I have. But also, if there's anything that you guys want to talk about, that I've maybe left out, just let me know and we can definitely start talking about that. But the one question I did have is, do you have a rough date that you think the platform will be ready by?
Yeah.
Do you want to release that, or is that like a hidden
It's again,
surprise?
it's in the white paper, Nick.
Oh,
Is
okay.
basically the work that's already been done with our devs. You know, the foundational work in preparation for this. You know, they've already said that they would be able to complete the basic platform within 3 to 4 months. So if we were to pre-launch as we are expecting by mid to late August, then really by Christmas the basic platform will be complete, and that's when we will transition onto that for the first major US sport, and we'll still be in NFL season, so that's likely to be what it is. And then we will build, test, release, as we said. But we're not after that. We're not talking months for each one. We're talking days or weeks, depending on what it is, because all the information is already there once the basic platform's built. We're just adding to it. And we're adding to it in two ways. One is obviously another sport, and then another sport, and then another sport, all working in the same way, all using alpha to start with. But the other way we're doing it is we're developing the use of the information that's going to be available on the platform. Now, just like you go to any website to do with sport, you know, everybody wants to know for that particular sport much more information. That's going to be available. But the bigger one is when you connect your wallet and you're identifiable to the platform as you, then all of the information to do with you, you know, we want to increase that. So you have fully your betting history, what you bet on, how much you've won, how much you've lost, the statistics with that, and much more. We'll ask the bettors themselves, we'll ask the community, what more do you want to see on there? What kind of analytics do you want on there? And we'll keep on adding that and developing that. So it has got bells and whistles as we go along. But the basic platform, 3 to 4 months, Christmas time.
Gotcha. No, I really like that too, because I think one of the worst things about gambling sites is they try to take advantage of people's addictions, and they want people to just lose their shirts, because a lot of these gambling sites, and maybe I'm talking, from inexperience here, but I could have sworn, remembering when I read up on gambling, that most of these companies make their money from a select few, or like some people who lose a lot of money, and a lot of the other people, they just lose like, 50, maybe $100 every other week or something. It's not a big deal. It's a part of like their fun. They treat it like going out. But I like that you're going to show people exactly how much you're winning, how much you're spending, how much you're losing, all time, weekly, whatever it may be, but just something that gives people something to look at, like, oh, maybe I should slow down here, or hey, I'm actually doing way better than I thought. Like maybe I'll risk 1,000 this weekend. Screw it. Like have a boys' night out or something crazy. So I like that, you have that there. I like that there's that option and that transparency between losing, like true gambling, and your wins. So I do like that. And then,
part of that is also the fact that our ethos is exactly that. We're not out to either become rich ourselves or make certain people rich as a result of the industry. And we would rather, have considerably less than have people's lives completely ruined by a gambling addiction. So we will look at and we will do whatever we can to completely minimize that. And the whole idea of what we're doing is to be able to share with the community what we're getting. So it's completely against our ethos right from the beginning. We're building something that you enjoy doing and you're going to do anywhere, and you're going to spend anywhere elsewhere but with us, so that you benefit whether you win or lose, and by using us to have fun for the games that you're going to watch and bet on with your friends and your family or whatever else. You're going to benefit from that revenue whether you win or lose. So that's the whole idea.
And that's the beauty of blockchain technology, that everything is transparent, everything is on chain. So every month, at the end of the month, we're gonna have monthly reports on the amount of profit that we made. Everything's gonna be transparent with the community. Everyone in the community will be able to see how much money we're making, because that's gonna depend on their percentage of how much money they're gonna get as well. So we're gonna be fully transparent. Every time we've met with, every time we have team talks, we talk like once or twice a week. We're talking about transparency, quite literally. That's one of our main topics when we talk. We want to be as transparent as possible, because we want to do things like no other sports betting company has ever done. So that's what we want. We want to revolutionize the betting industry.
I appreciate that. It's definitely hard because I watch this guy too with stocks every day, and one of the things that came up yesterday that I thought was a pretty big topic, because he brings up philosophy while we're watching stocks, and one of the things he brought up is that he tried to get his mother into investing, but she's a very holy woman, and she was like, well, all these companies are like trying to take money from you, like they're immoral. I don't want to support any of this. And that's kind of the balance that you teeter on between business, or whether you're a YouTuber or whatever. Like, you need views to make a living, but to get those views, sometimes people want to use clickbait, or they want to use this, or they want to use that, but does that necessarily make them evil? And it's this teeter-totter between balance and what value yourself and what other people to value. So gambling, that it's a bit immoral probably, but you're giving them the chance, and you're giving them all the tools to make their own decisions. I would say the immoral part is maybe traditional gambling, where you go into a casino and the odds are literally stacked against you. I would say with sports betting, it's not like that. It's not bet against you. I mean, your odds are against you, but that going into it. You might not necessarily know that, the dealer or whatever is doing a few shady things to like give himself an edge or whatever that is. So yeah, it's basically a long-winded me just saying, like, I understand that what you guys are trying to do comes from a place of good heart or good intentions, even though, it's gambling, and it may not always be seen as such, a pure thing to do. But yeah, I also wanted to kind of just be like a little bit more lighthearted at the end while we're just seeing if anybody else has any other questions. I'm going to start with Carlos, because I feel like we keep neglecting you, man. First up, man, just thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry that it didn't always get to be, like on you getting to talk and stuff, but I appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah, man, I love to be here, and then I thank you very much for having us, man, for sure.
No problem. I'm going to ask you, let me start over. What's your favorite NFT project, and have you invested, into any NFT projects?
Well, my favorite NFT project has to be Cornucopias. Cornucopia, that's my favorite. I hold plenty of them. I hold the bubble jets. I hold the javelin jets. I have lands. I pretty much, I believe in the project, so I am a big investor there.
Nice. Yeah, Cornucopias, actually, if we scroll way up in the comments, we had Fatty talking about it. He said only 4,400 of the Copy vehicles that minted today while we were live are minted, and they closed the mint there. So they did not mint out, I don't believe, but I think they're keeping the supply at 4,500. So shout out to anybody who got those. Hopefully you guys got some good luck, some good pulls. Cornucopias has minted a lot of assets. So personally, I had to sit this one out, but I'm a big fan of Cornucopias as well.
It was interesting because were you there for the javelin mint?
Oh man. So yes, I had just, I had such bad experience with the first Copy mint, and this isn't necessarily their fault, but what happened to me was I minted my 3 for my allocation, and then 45 minutes went by and I didn't get them sent to me. So this was the first mint that they had. They were using their brand new system, and they weren't sure if people who minted were going to get them, and if they were going to get them today or maybe tomorrow, or if they'd have to do like another mint. It was a lot up in the air. So I bought 2 on the secondary market right away, because I was just like, I just need to at least have 2, because I plan on playing this game. I need to have them for content, and I can't wait for them to like go to 1,000 floor. I had visions that they're going to be so much. And so I bought 2 off the floor, and then I woke up the next morning and they finally sent to me, and I got 2 commons and 1 uncommon. So I just had a bunch of these jets. And then they immediately, like a week or 2 later, came out with their bubble jets, and it crashed the price of the Copy jets. And I was just like so furious. I was like, why are you minting back-to-back vehicles within 2 weeks? This makes no sense. And I was like, there's no way I'm minting. There's a lot of people who were angry. I know a lot of other influencers were talking about it. And it just felt like they were taking the money from me at that time. I have a different opinion now. I love Cornucopias. But at that time, I was very upset. So I didn't even join the queue. And then they had that next failure of minting that day. And they were like, all right, well, we apologize that this got messed up too, and we want to make it right. So we're going to give everyone, the javelins for free. And because I was vengeful and spiteful and angry, I didn't get it. So it's my fault for not keeping my emotions in check. And shout outs to everybody who got one of those javelins.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think, in a way, that's why the team there is quite respected, because they're trying to do the best for the community. And when that went completely wrong, they could have just said, tough, but they didn't. They actually gave them all away. And that was, like a multi-million-dollar giveaway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, that I respect that. I respect that, and that's what we try to do as well with the membership cards, and saying no, we could just mint out 1,200, we could mint out 3,000, we could mint out whatever, but no, we closed it at 5, and that's it. And so those 5 holders of those 500 are very blessed. But as I said, we also recognize that many more are going to want to share in what it is that we're building, and that's why we really love the Wolfpack collection that will be coming. And the thing about that, as I said, is we if there's really demand for it and we can really share that with more people, then it doesn't have to be 3 to 5. It can be 10. It can even be 20. We could do one at 5, and a year later another one at 10, and a year later, we could do whatever, depending on how it all goes. If it goes as we believe it's going to go, we're going to have considerably more to share with more people, and that's what we'd like to do. And even the pre-sale for the token, our intention is to make sure that as many people as possible have the opportunity in the pre-sale to get their hands on some tokens, not to flip them, but we all know that they're going to be flippers and those trying to just buy to sell it, 2x, 5x, 10x, whatever it happens to be. You can't stop that. But if our message gets out of what we're really building and people realize the value of that, not just the cards but the token itself, then hopefully people will not just buy, they will hold and use and benefit for the longer term.
Yes, sir. I think, that's a great place to end it. But if you have literally anything you want to say, shout outs to another team member, something I missed, floor is yours.
The one thing I'd really like to say is we've talked about some of the partners we've got, but and what it is that I'm doing with Lazy Llamas in terms of the space on a Sunday, it is to bring attention to these great people and their projects, but not to shill the project. But the fact is, we have really wonderful people in the community, whether they're founders, community managers, mods, or just still in the community, because we've lost a lot of people. We know everything is down now at the moment, but the people who've remained, there are some really great people out there, and we really love them, and we love the community. And the projects which are not maximalists, they are working together constantly with partnerships and collaborations and helping and supporting other projects. Those are the projects, not only that they're going to survive, they're going to thrive. And I just want to shout them out. People like, Mike from Ultimate CNFT, now building Risk, Bank and what Bank has done, not just for themselves, but for many other partnerships and the partners they're working with. They have been a huge help to us. Big shout out to them. Really love those guys. There are others we're working with, but we can't say at the moment because we can't announce the partnerships, whatever. But the fact is, these great projects working together, I can't say enough for them, and I can't say more than that to everybody. Don't be maximalists. Let's all work together. Let's make all projects successful, because if all projects are successful and Cardano is successful, we will all be more than successful with what's coming in the future. So, let's work together and let's bring people to Cardano. Let's onboard people by great morals, great unions and partnerships, and a great love for the projects, the people, and those who will come. Biggest message I can probably put out there.
Amen to that. Shout outs to Mutants for creating raffles for everybody. Shout outs to Dirtbirds for helping with their mints for everybody. Same with Brave Dogs. Brave Dogs have helped so many teams throughout meme coin season, and even still they're continuing to build. So just wanted to shout out those people. Shout out Block for, the new implementations that he has. The way that my project works is I give out whitelist spots / OG spots from other people's projects. So it helps to give people value from my NFTs, and it helps to give exposure to those projects who need new people to view their projects. And my raffle bot that was actually created by NFT Seeker went down and I'm not able to get in touch with Miguel anymore, who is our developer. So I've been using Block is Hot's giveaway on his website that he just created like a few months ago. So huge shout outs to him. And, you know, yeah, just all the people who are helping, just like you said, other projects, those are the projects that are here right now. And those are the projects that are doing well. If you look at Brave Dogs, they were down for a bit. They're way up now. You know, you look at Dirt Birds, you look at Mutants, all these projects that are building Block, those are the projects. You're seeing it firsthand. You're 100% right, Joe. So huge shout outs to all them. Huge shout outs to you guys. And you guys who are watching, if you want to check out any more about Sports Alpha Club, I have all of their socials in the description below. So feel free to check them out. And yeah, any last words, Carlos, Alejandro?
Yeah, man. Thank you very much for having us here, Nick. I had a great time talking about the project. You know, every opportunity that we have to talk about it, I'll take it, because I just really love what we're doing. I have a big vision with this. I know the team has a big vision with this as well. And, you know, man, for the community that's here, for everyone that's watching right now, I want to thank you for taking the time to, you know, learn more about the project, learn more about where we're going, what we've done, what we're going to do. I also want to thank all of our community, all of our holders, because, you know, we wouldn't be nothing without them. At the end of the day, we're doing this for the community and for Cardano, for the blockchain. And yeah, just overall, thank you to everyone that has listened. Thank you to our community. Thank you to our team. Our team, you know, we wouldn't be where we are without our team that's working hard every day. They're putting their heart into this. You know, they share the same vision as we do. So yeah, just overall really happy with the talk that we just had, and I'm looking forward to any future talks that we could have.
Appreciate it, man. And Carlos, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, well, I wanna again thank you again for having us here, and I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited for everything, and yeah, love you
Gotcha.
guys.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate all you for coming on, Joe. We had I think Mikey said he was going to hit you up. He said he's not a scammer. He promises. I'm probably going to hit you up too. I'll try to join into that Sunday at, was it 8 a.m.
8 p.m. UTC.
UTC on Sunday. All right.
Oh, listen, if you ever have a problem, just go to the Lazy Llama Twitter page and you'll find everything about it. It's advertised, and all the previous talks are there. No problems at all. Love to. And actually, Nick, if you want to be a guest at some stage, I'd love to have you on.
Awesome. I appreciate it, man. But as always, guys, remember to get outside, see your friends, see your family. We're here to make more money so that we can spend more time with them. Until next time, guys. Peace.
Peace.